The greatest threat in Europe, and I'd say it was the greatest threat in the United States until about 30 days ago, is that you've had the leaders of the West decide that they should send millions and millions of unvetted foreign migrants into their countries. That is the biggest threat to Europe. And frankly, it remains, by the way, the biggest threat to the United States because, yes, we've got 4 years of President Trump's leadership, but I guarantee you, if the Democrats ever get power again, they're going to try to do it again.
What is the terrorist event scenario that really keeps you up at night? Not just because of the event itself, but the implications of it.
The fall of Europe. It's the fall of Europe. It's the fall of the United Kingdom is on the brink. The government of Sweden, the Prime Minister said a few weeks ago that he has lost control of the monopoly of violence, that his government has lost control of the monopoly of violence. He was very honest, but I think in many ways that's where Germany is at, where France is at. And those countries falling like domino effects, that is my nightmare. And they have done that through settlement, through infiltration in their institutions, including political parties, so that the government in office today, the Labour government, has done more to accommodate in the last 8 months than anything else. And that is my nightmare, that the West starts to fall apart.
Gente do céu!
Não batem numa mulher, faz favor. Sim, mas não batem ela. A polícia que vem fazer isso. Não batem ela.
Meu Deus do céu!
Olha, menino, olha. Ô, filho, fica aí.
Meu Deus do céu, gente! Gente, ela vai queimar! Meu Deus!
What's the greatest threat facing Britain today?
The entire nation state that is the United Kingdom, and I would argue that every Western civilized state is basically facing the same threat. Perhaps the United States now under Trump is facing it to a lesser extent. But the threat is this. It's what I would call the liberal global order, the order that has emerged over the last 30 or 40 years, where the belief is that, and this is a generous interpretation of what the belief is, but the belief is that through global cooperation, integration, actually I should say integration rather than cooperation, global integration, the governance of nation states with the global order in mind as opposed to national interest in mind, we have effectively significantly done away with that which was the United Kingdom, that which was Germany, France and so on. And you see this much more starkly, of course, in Europe, where they've even taken borders down to create the Schengen zone. But you see it in the UK. We've got broken borders. Immigrants are given every right, if not greater rights, than British citizens. We've coupled mass immigration with the regulatory and legal framework that is diversity, equity and inclusion, which is the putting a protected blanket, affording a protected status to ethnic minorities and minority religious beliefs, minority sexual preferences, sexual ideologies in this country, saying to this group that actually, you know, you will be promoted into work, you will be given better shake of the dice when it comes to promotions, you will be protected, frankly, in the criminal justice system. And so we've basically, in this pursuit of global prosperity, global integration, the promotion of everyone other than our own people and our own interest, done away with the democratic sovereign unit that is the United Kingdom. And it is the end of nation states that I think we face. That's the biggest threat, is the existential threat that nation states in the West face. And I think Trump has seen that. And, you know, you look at the policies that Trump espouses, you know, in a nutshell, they do away with everything I've just mentioned.
You talk about the end of the United Kingdom as a nation. That sounds quite stark to some.
Yeah.
This is very serious. Now we're witnessing an invasion. They are not refugees. No, this is an invasion of mass Islamization of Europe, which already went on for at minimum 50, 60 years, Islamization in Europe. But now it is in mass. It is very evident. And so this is a global political agenda by the powerful of the world to destroy Europe.
I am Muslim, but I am against Islamism. Save Britain from Islamism, fascism and terrorism. The people of Britain, they had enough. They are not going to let these fascist, terrorist Islamists impose their ideology to our children. If you come from other country here, you have to integrate here. You have to accept the culture. You cannot come here and stand against this culture and blatantly shouting, we are coming to take over. They are proud of having 6, 7 children and our government paying for their children. We have to shut down our border for at least 7 to 10 years and clean the country from inside, from this fascism, from this Islamism. I am saying this as a Muslim.
That's really interesting. That's the first Muslim I've ever heard come out and say this. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the result, is multiculturalism working? Here is what you told us. 5% of those of you who voted said yes it is. 95% of those of you who voted this morning said no it isn't.
Wetin be this? Wetin be this?
Where are you from? Where are you from? Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. Okay, okay. How long have you been? What job are you working now? Do you have any job? No job.
I start job.
I film myself. You have no job now.
I film myself. Don't worry.
No, you have no job.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been here for 1 year.
Yeah, for 1 year.
And for 1 year you got no job.
Yeah.
So how do you live? Is it the welfare from the government?
Yeah, welfare from the government.
Welfare from the government. How much a month?
just 75 euros.
In Portugal is better than Zimbabwe because you can live off of welfare, right?
Yeah,
you don't need to work.
Yeah.
In Zimbabwe you need to work, right? But here you don't need really to work, right? Where do you live here in this place, in this area?
I live in this wood, in the area.
So how do you pay rent?
By the government,
the government pays your rent.
Yeah,
the government pays your rent and they give you 75 euros just for you to help you to eat and
okay. Stuff,
are there a lot of people in this situation where they just live from the government's money? A lot.
How did you enter Portugal? How do you come inside? Is it a visa or how do you?
No, I'm gonna pay me.
Pay you for what?
Yeah.
We're just talking.
Where from?
England. UK, yeah.
And you?
I'm from Portugal.
Yeah, very like touch like shady kind of.
Yeah. Look, you just spoke with a random person, so it's not like we selected him, we handpicked him.
Yeah.
And what is his situation? Look, he doesn't want to be on camera and he's aggressive about it. Then he's saying you need to pay him for speaking with him. He's on drugs and drinking in plain daylight at 4 p.m. on a Thursday.
Yeah.
He doesn't work. He gets his house paid for by the government. He gets 75 euros on top of it, and we're supposed to think it's normal. We're supposed to think this is normal. It's not.
When another white boy or a white girl dies at the hand of an immigrant, we might shake our head, we might let out a sigh, we might even get angry for a minute or two, and then we go on with our lives. We offer the family thoughts and prayers, but nothing ever changes. Ladies and gentlemen, what does that say about us? This is a response of a society that has already given up, a society that has already accepted its defeat. But is this true? Have we given up? Do we really accept the new reality that our globalist leaders have in mind for us? I know one thing for sure, and that is that if nothing changes, if we don't start to seriously fight for our continent, for our religion, for our people, our countries, then this time that we live in will go down in history as the time in which Western nations no longer had to get invaded by hostile armies in order to be conquered. This time will then go down in history as the period in which the invader was actively invited in by a corrupt elite. And not only did this corrupt elite invite the enemy in, they made the native population pay for it too.